What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We apologize for the delay. As you could see, when I had the starting soon menu pull up, iRacing was being a pain in my butt. But we are here. We are square. I'm just going to go over some settings here, make sure everything is working as they should. We do apologize for delay. We did miss the beginning of the race. They are only 2 laps in, so we're not missing much. I gotta get everything back up. Church, what have you seen going on tonight? Yeah, man, it's iRacing, brother. It's just it's a pain. I think we're good though, man. I think we're good. We got everything up. I'm still pulling everything up ever so slightly here. I'm gonna change the camera angles for everybody here. We're gonna go exciting view on here, folks, real quick. You know what? I can't be flawless. There has to be something funky going on every single time with me. All right. I think we're all right. We're good. We're good. It's unfortunate, but it's all right. With only 2 laps. Yeah, man, we're rocking and we're rolling, fucking and jiving. Yeah, let's go. We were on that. Let's go backwards a little bit. Oh, it's not gonna switch back to my camera, is it? Oh, here it is. On board with bigger here. Let me go to a different camera angle. Go into his. Looks like Biggert's coming in hot. He's going in for the dive bomb. Colby slams the door, and too little, too late. Biggert's into him. Little overdrive, no big deal. Not a big. Where is my sound? Hold on here. We have 0 sound. I am struggling tonight, church. There's my sound. I was in replay mode. Can't be there. Bear with me, folks. I'm just making a few changes, a few fixes. We're gonna get her. We're gonna be okay. Where do I... trying to do all this on the fly. It's not fun. More. 80. More. Won't get there. It's gonna be nice and pretty. Hey, look at that. Bam. Leave her like that. All right. Church, we're good to go, babe. We got her all done. Let's go into the cockpit. See what kind of view we got. As he wheels that GTP around, Strickland is sitting for fourth. This will be positioned for third. You can see how hear how smooth he is on the throttle. Awesome. Hungaroring. Oh my goodness, dude. You want to hear you want to hear another downside to this whole thing?
What?
I had you muted the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
Whole time. The whole time.
And my shit's dying. God, hold on.
That's all right. We're good. On board with Michael Strickland. They coming into really sharp hairpin corner, it looks like. And he is chasing down David Stein, Chris Roberge.
Looks like Nathan Biggert just got around Kobe there for 10th, 9th.
And as they both go around Wesley Straight. Good. You know, Chris Roberge's holding his own though, man. He's no slacker. You got to watch out for him.
Yeah, he usually runs pretty. He's been running pretty good in these GTP cars.
What's our track details looking
like? It looks like
75 degrees, 10% humidity, clear.
Yep.
3 mile an hour. Very, very beautiful.
76-degree track. Perfect. Run down your top three. You got James Pierce, Peyton Sweet, and Chris Roberge, your top three in GTP. You've got Gene McClune, David Steiner, and Wesley Straight, your top three in GT3.
Striker slowly catching. We're gonna leave it on these two for a smidge.
Looks like Nate Biggert got pulled a little bit of a gap on Colby there, so
Towers. Oh. Why is nothing working tonight the way it should be? There. White does that. Nothing is wanting to cooperate tonight.
nothing.
No,
Nothing.
I just clicked on race info and it just like reset everything. So it's awesome. Whatever. It is what it is. We're gonna get. Oh no, Blackwell with a crash. Go back and take a gander at that. $5 says he spins himself. Yep. He did what I would do every single turn. Spins himself. Strickland still in pursuit. Chris Roberge. We got who is Nathan Bigger.
Not sure. I was listening to James Pierce talk and Michael Strickland talking, and he was asking Stryker if his car was deploying. And deploying, he wasn't sure, like as in the battery deploying. Yeah, so I don't know if like they switches over to battery power. I don't know. Interesting. I'll have to look more into deploying on these UTP cars. See what that really it does. Or
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't have a clue.
yeah, he just said his Striker says his is deploying. So I'm gonna look up.
Wesley Straight, Nathan Biggert, you could see each lap. Biggert's just slightly faster. Hungaroring in Hungary. This is where we're at, and this is what we're doing. It's a beautiful day for a race. We were gone for a week. I think that's kind of the reason everybody's a little messed up. Not on their A game. Maybe it's just me. These drivers are on their A game as they go around. What would you think? Would you say this is like a beginner track, an intermediate track, and like an expert track?
From what I understand, this track it's a fast track, but the corners are really slow. You really got to take them easy on these corners. I'd say intermediate. I'd say in the middle. I was trying to see if we had any hotels nearby, but
you know, as we watch this battle between Biggert and Wesley Straight, which is awesome, seeing Wesley Straight finally out and about and getting in there and being competitive. We always know he was competitive. He was just having, you know, some rough luck there for the next few races, but he is not making Nathan Biggert's life easy right now.
Hey, I got some breaking news. It looks like Noah Blackwell took it to the garage. Not sure what was going on there, if anything, but looks like he's done it for the day.
Done out completely? Oh, yeah. His car disappears in the pits. Oh, it looks like he came back then. Nope, he's out. He gone. Go back to the past where Michael Strickland ended up getting around Roberge, and it looks like because Roberge spun. Go back a little bit here. Oh, was there contact? Let's go to Roberge. It's interesting. Oh, he just drove it in too hard to get around that GT3, and the Striker was there to pounce. Dang it, Roberge.
You've got a 3-car battle here with Nate Biggert, Wesley Straight, and Colby going on right here. It's a great race.
And this is going to be for position 10th, 11th, and 9th. Like, they're battling back there, dude. Like, that's awesome.
Good racing.
Oh, no, I guess it'd be 3rd, 4th, and 5th. As you got Gene McClune and David Steiner showing the way.
Looks like we have, altogether, we have 6 cars on the lead lap. Gene McClune, well, it looks like all the GT3 cars are a lap down, you know, which is kind of to be expected with these GTP cars. So.
Oh, yeah, that's typical, 100%.
Yeah.
They're going after it for sure. I mean, it's just going to be good hard. You know, it's funny. Before we started doing the broadcast, and I fought iRacing, I was giving these guys a hard time, been like, "Listen, we don't want to see that follow the leader stuff anymore. We want to see a race," and that's what they're producing for us tonight.
Yeah, for sure. But that what is it? 8th and 9th, the Biggert and the Colby one. That's been some pretty good racing the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, as Nate shows the way here in the Mercedes, Colby and Wesley, which are teammates, you can see their paint schemes. The colors are just switched: red on one on the hood and blue on the other, then vice versa on the rear. You gotta go off the numbers though. I always get the two mixed up. Hartung's the 21, Wesley's an 89. What?
I was kind of watching this David Steiner and Gene McClune Looks like Steiner's slowly catching him. That'd be for 7th place, which would be
Oh, McLuhan's car
which
looks sweet.
which would be for the lead in the GT3 cars if you can get by him.
Yeah, dude, I just clicked on Gina. I mean, dude, that is a sweet car. Black and gold, fly navy up on the banner. Sick looking ride, dude.
I don't have trading paints up.
And then we got David Steiner behind him and that Mercedes. That is Michael Caffrey's teammate, and the Dominate Mercedes up there representing Australia. Did I say Canadian? Australia. I did.
Stuck in the Canadian.
I know. Robers, man, he spun out on me. No, Australian, folks. Australian, not Canadian. I apologize, Steiner. I apologize, Caffrey. But me and Church big Australian fans due to the sprint car history we have with
car history.
Yes, sir.
Give me about 2 seconds.
Go in the cockpit here. You can see how much, I wouldn't say it's 1,000 times easier to drive than the GTPs, but it's a definitely slower pace than the GT3s. So in my eyes, sometimes speed is a little bit harder to drive, and he really cranks that wheel and straightens it back out as soon as he can, trying every inch. He's slowly gaining on Gina. I don't know why my battle box isn't changing. Let's try this. I click on it, show now. Oh, it's backwards. That's why we want it to be there. You can see the lap differences between all our drivers. So you can see Steiner's faster lap 8, lap 9, a little bit slower in 10, and a little bit slower in 11th. And Nate back there is slower than Steiner across the board. Long race. It's going to be an hour long. We're approaching a 30-minute mark or so. I was a little toboggled after iRacing wouldn't focus with me, so we're getting all the settings worked out. We're good to go. It's an unfortunate thing, but it didn't ruin it ruined the broadcast a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I apologize, everybody. I have a higher standard for things like this.
Okay, but
Chris Robers with a crash. Let's go take a gander at what happened here.
Oh man, he was doing good too.
He's just overdrove it. Yep, looped her. You know, these cars have to be tough to drive, man, because that's a common thing in these GTPs is guys looping them. As Steiner's going to be under fire here with Michael Strickland as he's trying to reel in Gene McLuhan is going to play a factor. That's what makes it so entertaining is these GTPs out there. You could be reeling in the guy in front of you, and that GTP might cut down on your nose real quick and just take a little air off you and get you all messed up.
Right. You know, you were talking like those GTP cars. To me, I look at them as like a feather, dude. Like you barely get into some grass or something. I think they spin around so fast. I don't know. Is it because they're so light or what?
It's just the power to weight ratio. You know, that whole car is probably carbon fiber, you know, and the GTPs are definitely not carbon fiber. I don't think anyways.
Not sure. Man, we still got a good battle with Colby and Nate. All race long, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at the gap difference between Steiner and Biggert, 18 seconds. That is the difference. 18 seconds.
So, the standings now have kind of shaken up a little bit. James Pierce is still your leader with Peyton Sweet second, Michael Strickland third due to Chris Robert's little incident. Thaddeus Marshall fourth, Robert's fifth, and Steven Salas is sixth in GTP. Gene McLuhan still leading your GT3, David Steiner second, and Nathan Biggert third.
Colby Hartung fourth, Wesley Straight fifth, Mark Gretchen sixth, Theodore Is it Sadie? Yeah, Theodore Sadie, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Sadel. And then
You know,
Noah Blackwell will be fourth.
I was trying to find some track facts about this track, and then there really isn't a whole bunch of good, information that'll be worthwhile. That's fun facts anyway. I do know, it's in Hungary, and if nobody knows where Hungary's at, Hungary is near Romania or Slovakia or Austria. Austria. You know where isn't it where Rocky Balboa came? He's a Slovak or Austrian.
Rocky
Am I right?
Balboa. Rocky Balboa is Italian.
I must be thinking of somebody else. No, I thought somebody was from Austria. Austria.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I just don't know who they are. Did you see James Pierce get around those GT3s in the grass?
Did he?
Oh my goodness, this guy. Again, we've said it once, we'll say it 1,000 times. He is an alien.
He's good. He's good. He really is.
Well, we got to jump on board as we watch this. This is just wild. Cruising. Has a GTP inside. He's like, nope, I'm just going in the grass.
I'll just go right around.
Just take the grass route. It's a little bit quicker. That's funny. That guy, listen, man. Yeah, at least he makes the races entertaining. You know, he might be super quick and a lot of people struggle to keep up with him, but he makes it as interesting as physically possible.
Here we go again, man. And that battle with Colby and Nate Biggert. Biggert ninth, Colby right on his bumper. So
Colby's no slouch, dude. He races smart, and you know, if anybody can really get under Nate's skin, and make it rattle him, I think it's Colby.
Whoa. Might have a battle. That Thaddeus Marshall was coming on quick on the striker for third and fourth. So I might want to watch that. Something might heat up.
Yeah, as you see him drive it deep, come on to the outside, goes off the track a little bit. He's going to come in, keep the bomb down low. Striker goes way too high, overdrives it. And he's going to get around him on the inside. You know, I don't know if Striker meant to do that. That kind of looked like something Striker would do on purpose, but it also looks like something Striker would do by accident. So it's going to be interesting.
Trying to push it a little hard. But, you never know. He could have just been like, hey, go on around me. I'm just cruising.
That is a Striker thing, but Striker is a very competitive person too. So as you see him drive it in deep to gain a little ground, he comes off the corner really hard. He gains a little time there. And you could just see right here, Striker, that had to have been an accident because it does not look like he's happy that he lost that spot over an error on his part, because he is driving every corner just slightly deeper, sticking it on the bottom and pushing it.
James Pierce is getting ready to lap Gene McClune here. See if he makes a clean pass.
Gene McClune's under fire, huh? Yeah, Steiner's slowly reeling him in, man. Steiner's fast here, bro. I think Gene's going to have his hands full with him.
Yeah, Steiner is gaining on him, and I don't know if
I mean, lap 13 he was faster, 14 he was slower, 12 slower. I mean, he's not Gene is pulling him for the most part, but I mean, it's not a lot. I mean, we're talking 1/1000s. I mean, it's just 1,000s mainly.
We might have a battle here, 12th and 13th with Mark Retchen and Theodore Seti or Sedell or
Yeah, and
uh,
he's been faster the last 3 laps. I mean, lap 13, he gained 1.4 seconds on Retchen. Um, so he's starting to. I think he's starting to get comfortable behind the car, that GT3.
yeah, you got to be careful here because there's 2 GTP cars coming up behind him here too. So
Hey, man, that's what makes the race it's so entertaining. See, and that right there, he made Theodore go wide to let that GTP wide, and he lost a lot of ground during that. Oh, he gains a ton. Wretched
There he
slowing up,
goes.
and he's going to go right around him on the outside there.
Striker's going around him as well. Get around the boat. There you go.
See, that's one of the things that happens with these guys. If you're driving out your rear view mirror, but you're paying attention to the GTPs and not the GT3 creeping up on you, that's what'll happen. As Retchen just back into it, right back onto his back bumper as he's driving it in deep in the corners. They're going to go through the little chicane there.
Yeah, Retchen's real good about that. I mean, he likes to keep it clean as much as possible, and if he goes a little wide there, but yeah, he'll try to keep it. You know, if he needs to get out of your way, he'll let you by. He doesn't have an issue with that.
Oh, Retchen is a very, very aggressive driver, but he's also one of the cleanest.
Yeah.
He's given, he's taken as much as he possibly can. I got the driving line on right now, so you can actually see where iRacing, I've had it on the whole time, but you can actually see where iRacing suggests these drivers to brake. And as you watch these guys come into that red area, they're braking super late. That's how I know they're driving deep into the corner. So that's why I like to leave the driving line on for those that can see where these guys' braking point says. Watch. See, he broke about a quarter into the red there just to gain a little more ground, and you got to get really hard on the brakes. And the problem with getting hard on the brakes is, especially late, is you might be a little late to the apex or a little earlier than you want to be. So it kind of messes with your braking. So these guys got to be really transparent with their braking and constantly be adjusting on when they want to roll the corner easy and when they want to roll the corner a little harder and be more aggressive.
We got a cluster here. Peyton Sweet running second. Gene McClune in there. Steven Salas in there. David Steiner in there.
Yeah, it looks like the GTPs are going to get by him just fine. As you see Peyton Sweet working on that Marshall?
That would be...
Oh, no. Peyton Sweet is... I'm sorry. Peyton Sweet is the 54. Salas is...
13.
Yeah, 13. He's in that pink and green machine. He must have had trouble early on. I don't see anything up on the board, out of the ordinary, but maybe he already pitted too. I don't know. That's all right.
Striker trying to catch Thaddeus Marshall for third. He sure looks like he's pushing that car a little bit.
Yeah, you can, and again, with the driving line, this is the best thing about it is you can see where it's a suggested braking zone, and a lot of guys use it, and these guys are not. I mean, their driving line's similar, but they are braking way later into the corner and somehow maneuvering that car just enough to make it through everything.
Right. You were talking about David Steiner earlier about him getting faster. He's starting to gain on Gene McClune here.
Yeah, you're looking at the lap times here, Steiner's been faster, lap 13, 16. I mean, slowly reeling him in. I mean, he's gaining more than he's losing.
That would be for the lead.
Again, guys, we had a little technical difficulties beginning. iRacing did not want to let me in the session, so I didn't really want to jump the stream anytime soon. But this race is brought to you by Virtual Velocity Racing. They're a premier partner and a sponsor of the series. Tim Lee's the owner. They race every Thursday night, I believe. And they are completely booked ladies and gentlemen. Last I seen on their Facebook, they were not taking anybody else for their next gen series. I'm not 1,000% sure if they have another series they're going to build because of the turnout that they have. But go over there, check them out. I mean, get in line for maybe the next spot when one opens up, and see if you can't get in and race with the boys. I'm sure they'll definitely welcome you in with open arms.
Yeah, Tim Lee and the VVR guys, they're a great group of people. Um, I even considered to try running their Cup series, but man, it looked like a lot of good people in there, so it was pretty full. So I might have to wait on the next one.
I mean, and there's not a lot of leagues that can max out. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see.
Got Status Marshall here, right behind Colby and Nate. See if he can make clean passes, because here comes Striker.
Yep, Striker's rolling in. He's on the move, and this is what Striker wants to see: is Status Marshall getting in the mix with these guys. You can see how much ground he makes up. He's going to break really hard into the corner, and Biggert's going to go down and get in Striker's line, but Striker's going to get back up on the throttle a little bit quicker. You can see Striker's being patient. Biggert goes up, lets him around, and that's going to allow Colby Hardtongue to close the gap that much more against Biggert.
Yeah, it's crazy. For both those two car battles were both 4 positions, so good driving by all of them.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, these guys run with each other all of the time, so they know everybody, each one's driving style, which is obviously important. Yeah. So Virtual Velocity Racing, they race on Thursdays. I thought I remember that. Their practice normally starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a 5-minute qualifying session at 8:25, and then they race from there. Go over to Virtual Velocity Racing on Facebook under the groups tab, and just join them, man. They'll let you join, and if they don't have a spot, get in line. Good racing over there.
Yeah, it looked like David Steiner had an opportunity to get by Gene there for the lead, but he might have got a little loose or something, because Gene was able to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, a good hard battle. I think out of the 3 races we've done, when Gene's there, he's dominated for the most part, to say the least. And
yeah, pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's nice to start to see these guys, picking up the speed, getting in there closer with them.
Looks like we got Mark Retchen in the pits, running 11th. Not sure.
Scheduled pit stop?
Yeah, he's running 5th in the GT3 class. Yep, he's coming back out now.
Yeah, he probably just had to fill that guzzler up. Nathan Bigger gaining ground on second place, David Steiner. But, he's 24 seconds behind, so he's going to have to gang a little more than what he's ganging right now. Some good, clean racing.
With Mark Pitt, are we getting ready to see pit stops, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would assume so. I mean, Retchen wouldn't have pitted out of the blue, and he has 0 accidents, so I'd say they're scheduled. Colby reeling in Nathan Biggert here. This is for 3rd position, the podium spot. I'm gonna say they're racing this hard because they want to do the interview after the race.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Sitting here looking through the list of people, we are missing Hammond's son Tyler, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's because that new PC they're kind of struggling with right now, it's automatically shutting down, and I just think they're going to sit one out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Very.
Because it was new equipment that he bought to run, and just to have problems with the new equipment that you wouldn't think you'd have, it'd be frustrating. And and now you're going to lose out on points for a race. Yeah, I just hope they get that fixed up as soon as possible.
Yeah, man, it's I like watching Tyler race. And I know his grandparents B&B. Oh, there we go. Nathan Bigger and Colby Hartung both in pit at the exact same time. Colby's not going to let Nate run away from that third place position as they're both going to jump in their pit. Colby makes up a little time, rushing in there and slowing down right at the last minute just to gain every little bit of time on him. They're going to have flawless pit stops. It's going to be curious to see if anybody takes tires or if they're just taking fuel. Colby slid the pit, dude, and had to back up a little bit. That will cost him.
Yeah.
Oh, and he still gets out before Nate. Nate's still sitting there.
What a battle.
Nate pulls out.
Here we go.
That's going to hurt him. That's going to hurt him. I wonder if he took tires.
Looks like we got Steven Salas coming in or going out.
No.
I think he's coming in.
Yeah, he's probably coming. Yep, fuel stops. That's what we're doing here.
We go.
The car gets jacked up. Looks like he's going to take some tires.
So as they're getting ready to do stops and stuff like that, we'll run down the whole order again. James Pierce first. Second is Peyton Sweet. Third is Thaddeus Marshall. Fourth is, let's change that. James Pierce first. Thaddeus Marshall second. Peyton Sweet
you should
third.
Probably wait till after their pit stops, dude, because Striker just bolted too. It's going to. Okay. I would give it like 4 laps just in case. Yeah, not to cut you off, man, but I'm sitting here. I'm watching the timelines right now, and everybody's just bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah. I want to make sure I'm still live. Yeah.
James Pierce coming in. I mean, you got Salas, you got Pierce, and you got Stryker all in the pits at the exact same time. So we're doing green flag stops right here. They're going to top off with fuel for the next 15-minute run here, and get after
24 laps. 24 laps they ran, and then started pit. That's a long ways, man. Considering, the track is 2.72 miles long. 24 laps.
Yeah, they're going to. I don't know if there will ever be like an actual. Do they do actual yellows? Surely they do, right? In real life.
Yellow flags?
Yeah, you would think like if they actually had to stack them back up and go like how.
I believe cool so. I believe so. I do know that they on here, like if there was a car that spun out and you're nearby, it'll throw that caution flag or whatever saying, hey, there's somebody in front of you up here that got off track or spun out or whatnot, so be cautious. I do know that.
I just
0% chance of rain.
0% chance. Yeah, so everybody that doesn't know, iRacing, hence why I was late tonight, had a huge update yesterday, and they introduced rain to the series, which we are going to end up doing. Obviously, we've talked about in the past, and we kind of tinkered with it as a league the other night, just playing around with it. Everybody was excited that was released, and it's going to make the racing unbelievably difficult for everybody. It's like driving on ice.
Yeah, I was watching Riker last night play around with it, and it's hard to see. You get behind somebody and they're throwing the wind or that rain. It's tough to see. Oh, we got Kobe spinning it, running ninth. He just free-spun it.
I did hear
it. Man, that's a tough break for him.
That's what Nathan Biggert wanted to see right there. Right. Just that little spin's going to help him get caught up.
Pushing a little too hard.
And you can see Nate lurking in the shadows. He's going for a little Colby hunting spree here. A little hunting spree. You can see the gaps. You can see, I mean, Nate on lap 23 when Colby spun out gained 6.8 seconds. A lot.
Your running order currently is James Pierce is first, with Thaddeus Marshall second, Peyton Sweet third, Stryker fourth, fifth is Christian Bears, and sixth is Steven Salas. That's your GTP class. Your GT3s is Gene McClune first, David Steiner second, Kobe Hartung third, Nathan Biggert fourth, Wesley Straight fifth, Theodore Sedil is sixth, or yeah, sixth.
I think it's
Mark Rutch
Seedle.
seventh. Yeah, Rutchin's seventh, and then we got Noah Blackwell that's out of the race, rounding out your GT.
Yeah, man, what a tough break for Blackwell tonight, man. It's unfortunate. James Pierce comes in hot right behind Retchin, and he's so good about getting through the traffic. And here comes Stryker, got a nice clean road to get into. I mean, that was really nice of Retchin just to stay low, and he overdrives it and comes really wide into the corner. He's going to get back on.
Watching this battle with Colby and Nate, you got Thaddeus Marshall right there, kind of on the outside of Nate.
When he spun out,
Kind of watching to see if it slows him down at all. No, may let him by. Okay. Nate didn't lose much ground. Actually caught him a lot.
Yeah, we'll go into the cockpit. Again, look, if you watch the driving line, when it turns red, that's when they're suggesting braking, and you could just hear how deep these guys are getting into it. And he gains a little time, and if he can make the corner better than Colby, he's going to stick with him. You could almost tie a rope to Nathan Biggert there with Colby and just watch him get pulled around the track. They're running such identical lines.
Yeah, you got Peyton Sweet that joined in on the mix. See if they let him by it. They're going to let him by.
They're racing for position, man. They're not just going to get out of the way for these GTPs. They're going to make the GTPs run the line, the less optimal line, to get around them. As you can see, Kobe Hartung didn't give that line away. He made that GTP force the issue and get around him on his own. Steven Salas went off the track. See what happened there. Maybe he overdrove the corner.
We're going to have a battle for the lead for the GT3s. David Steiner and Gene McClune are side by side.
The life here.
Looks like what? Looks like Steiner took it over.
Let's go back here. So you can see Steiner gets the advantage. He keeps it a little bit lower. That's going to allow him to get up next to Gene. They drag race into the corner, and they both break at the same time. Steiner just stuck it, and he takes off.
It looks like we got Gene pulling into the pits.
That's going to be interesting because if it's for a fuel stop, which these two went longer than the rest of the field did, I would have to say Steiner's probably going to have to pit next lap if he wants, keep that gap from him at all.
Yep.
We only have the top three and the GTPs on the lead lap, and then we have the top four and the GT3s on the lead lap. Everybody else lap down.
Whoa. James Pierce way off track there on that corner. Not sure if something happened between him and Roberge, but it sounded like Roberge apologized.
Well, I don't think we need to worry about James Pierce going off the track. We watched him literally pass a GT3 in the grass. I didn't know these things were off-road vehicles, but now that I do, I want to see him pull that in the rain. What do you think?
Yeah, rain's gonna be fun. We get some wet weather going. You just seen Roberge right there. Just let James by.
James, the guy to beat 9 times out of 10 with his teammate Marshall trailing behind him 45 seconds.
Side by side again, Colby and Nate Biggert.
It's like Colby's going to get the edge on Biggert here as they come around.
That's for a podium. That's for third. So, you know, all race long, they've been having a heck of a.
You think that's half the reason why they're struggling reeling in the leaders? They're just back here battling it out between the two of them.
Oh yeah, they're just having.
You know, and I can tell you, these two gentlemen here would rather race this hard for 100th position versus dominating the race and just winning.
Oh man, right. Yeah, man, they're having a blast right now, and they know it. They know it's for a podium, so you know, adds a little bit of extra to it there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Nathan Biggert faster, lap 23, 24, 25, and 26. You mess up one corner, this is what will happen. The guy behind you is ready to pounce.
We got second, third place in the GTPs here. Got Peyton Sweet third and Thaddeus Marshall second. They're neck and neck. So
yeah, it actually looks like Peyton ended up passing him not too long ago. So they're going to reel him in. They're going to have to work around Gene here. Gene just stays up high and gives it away. Oh, no. Thaddeus Marshall's going to reel in Sweet for second place here as they're struggling getting around Gene here.
He can gain some ground here if he gets him blocked. As he gets by.
Oh, and Sweet goes off the track. Marshall's going to take advantage of that, overdriving the car. This is what can happen when you're fighting around a GT3 car. This is awesome racing.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's you can tell they're pushing, and they're pushing to get around them lap cars, and you know that's what happens when you push a little too hard.
It can happen to any of us, you know.
So put Thaddeus Marshall in second for the GTPs.
These cats, man, they're running as hard as they possibly can. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
David Steiner in the pits.
I called it, didn't I? So Gene's going to have to do what he can to start reeling him in. He's going to have to close a gap, and he's going to. He's 2 seconds, 1 second, 1.6. So Steiner's already back out. I mean, look at that. That's if Steiner would have slipped up one time, overslid his pit stall, anything like that, he would have been sitting in second place right now. So now Gene's going to have to do all that work to get around him, and Steiner's car is probably going to rotate better than Gene's, based off of a full take a feel. You know, I would assume that's kind of how they design these cars when they're initially setting them up, a full tank to a half a tank. You can see Gene driving it in deep, going through the little chicane here, gaining a little ground, slowly working that car as fast as he possibly can to get it caught up. What a good show these gentlemen are putting on. I love it. 1,000 times better than Daytona, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, 100%.
I'm still watching the Thaddeus Marshall and Peyton Sweet battle. They're running with each other here.
Your biggest mover right now is Michael Strickland, up 10 positions. I'm assuming he started behind the GT3s. I don't know if that counts as the biggest mover, points wise, but that's what he's coming up as, plus 10.
Right. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
As Church goes to the bathroom, we're going to keep an eye on this Peyton Sweet Thaddeus Marshall battle as it slowly winds down here. We're going to go in the cockpit. Let's see how deep he's driving into these corners. As you can see, driving line's green, red, and it didn't even sound like he broke at all. Maybe he is braking. The car sounds so weird when they're off of it and versus when they're braking. Hear him downshifting, braking as hard as he can. Oh no. Gene McClune ended up going off track here. Let's see what happened here. Driving it hard, driving it hard. Yeah, he broke way late.
4.
Oh, I think it's just going into the green is what's counting as off track. Oh no, we got a crash. We had a Chris Roberts, Steven Salas, and Wesley Straight accident. See how this transpired. As we're on board with Chris Roberts, he spins right here. Steven Salas locks him up, has nowhere to go. They back up, they get everything straightened back out. They considered Salas a crash just by stopping, I think. See what happened with Wesley Straight here. Catching up on all the action. Oh, he goes off track to let these guys around. And they consider that a track and off track and then an accident. iRacing and their false calls. How dare you guys?
All right, you think you can finish this?
Who? The battle we got going on here, we got James Pierce in the lead, Peyton Sweet, Thaddeus Marshall, Michael Strickland, Steven Salas, Chris Roberts, David Steiner, Gene McClune, Colby Hardtongue, Nathan Bigger, Wesley Straight, Theodore, I think it's Sadie. I'm not 1,000% positive. How to pronounce this. And then Mark Gretchen and Noah Blackwell out. What's that, Church?
What happened to Mark?
Gretchen?
Yeah.
Oh, he's still out there.
Okay.
I was talking about Noah Blackwell out.
Gotcha.
And we still got Nathan Bigger working on Colby Hardtongue, trying to get as much ground out of him, and Salas in the back there in that GTP car, trying to find a line to get around these gentlemen. This could make and break both classes, you know. Salas back there trying to get ganging on the guy in front of him, and then he has two cars bumper to bumper fighting for a position, so he's trying not to interrupt them without losing too much time himself. It's such a hard way you got to play it out. Eventually he's going to have to force Salas is going to have to force the issue and just put that car in the middle of these GT3s and get out of the way, get around them. He's going to go to the bottom on this straightaway. He's going to carry more speed than both. It looks like he was just waiting for this corner or this straightaway to make that move. And you can see Nathan Bigger peeks a nose up underneath Colby Hardtongue. Hardtongue not phased at all with how close he was. He's doing a little block move. Nathan Bigger go on the outside of him, drive it in a little deep, stick to the outside there, bumper to bumper right now. Hardtongue going to hold that bottom, which is the preferred line, and he's going to make Nate try every little inch of that track just to get around him. He's holding his own though.
Such a good race, all race long with both of them.
Colby just he's not getting rattled, man, and it sounds like it's easy, folks, not to get rattled with a car behind you, but it happens very easily.
Yeah, it makes you want to push harder. You get somebody behind you, and then that's when your mistakes can happen.
These guys aren't no slouches. Yeah, how about Peyton Sweet, man? That GTP car. He's holding off Thetis Marshall, man. And just having Marshall trying everything in his power to get up to him. You just hear how Lady's braking, cranking that wheel as hard as he can. Tires are no longer a thing to save right now as they're trying to get into as much throttle as early as possible, as often as possible to get around that next car. We got Wesley Straight just jumping to the pits here.
Should be getting closer to almost the last lap, shouldn't we?
We're getting there. You know, last time we did this, we said it was going to be 9:30 on the money, and I think it went like 10 minutes past. Colby Hartung makes, or Nathan Biggert makes the pass on Colby Hartung. This is for third. And you can see in Nate's little rear view down camera thing there. Colby right there. Oh, Colby's going to spin out. Oh, no. Let's go back. He's going to drive it in. He's going to get next to him. They do a little, it looks like there was a little bump there. Let's go.
Right back.
Let's go check it out here. Little tag, maybe? It's going to be left front. Colby. You can just see how close these guys get. They're rolling the corner. Nathan's coming down. Colby's coming up. Oh, it looked like net code maybe. Well, net code. Let's go to car chase. We can see just how, if it was actually net code. Colby's going to drive it in deep here. He's going to get up on there. Yeah, it looked like net code. It happens, folks. It happens. Colby going into the pits. I believe that's probably going to ruin his night right there. Checkered flag. What a good race. That was just great, guys. So you got your winner. Your top three for your GTP is going to be Pierce, Sweet, and Marshall. Your top three in your GT3 class is going to be Steiner, McClune, and Biggert. This is awesome.
Good racing. It's good racing.
That Dominate BMW is going to look sweet. Striker wrecking after the checkered flag. It's the dais. I remember now. Not Thetis, the dais. As they cycle around, we're going to get them in the waiting room. Get everybody away. Get some driver interviews. We'll go over the race results. Oh, no, everybody's taking the checkered flag yet. We got to wait because it's not going to give it to us until we take that checkered flag.
Ryan, I'm going to go here and do some water.
Yeah, it's the kid's birthday, isn't it?
Yeah, 6 years old. So I'll leave this up so I can at least listen to you guys while we do that.
All right, bye.
All right. Hey, good broadcast, man. A really good race.
Yep. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Okay. Ready?
All right, folks. I do believe we can get our race results. It's not letting me. Dang you, iRacing. Finish the race already. Here was your race info again. One more time, folks. It was a little over 2.5 miles. Track temp 76 degrees and an altitude of 773 feet above sea level. The weather was 75 degrees, 10% humidity, clear with 3-mile-an-hour wind. You're gonna give me my results now. Why will it not give me my results? I do not know. Not giving them to me. We're gonna keep trying. I want them up. Where's this? Hey, look, there's our results right there. All right, so you have James Pierce, Peyton Sweet, Theodis Marshall, Michael Strickland, Steven Salas, Chris Roberge. Your top 6 for the GTPs. You got David Steiner, Gene McClune, Nathan Biggert, Colby Hartung, Theodore Seidel, Mark Retchen, Wesley Straight, Noah Blackwell for your GT3s. As you can see, all the GT3s and a large majority of the GTPs were all lap down to your leader, James Pierce and Peyton Sweet. That's just how it rolls sometimes, unfortunately. All right, folks, we're going to step away for a quick second. We're going to get your podium drivers ready, and we will return back momentarily. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get these interviews underway right now. Let's start off with Mr. Peyton Sweet getting second place here. And the GTP. Peyton Sweet, you got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir, I do.
Man, what a race tonight, dude. I was in Discord earlier telling the guys, please don't have another Daytona show. It was everybody just kind of followed the leader and everything. And tonight was nothing of the sort in any way, shape, or form. Give me your 2 cents on what was going on tonight. What were your thoughts on the track and the racing?
I think it was fun tonight. I had a blast racing this track. This is my first time running this track. I've never ran this before in any other in any other car, and I was nervous going in. And I kind of got the read from practice earlier, and I was kind of mentioning that like this is my first time on the track, and I haven't practiced at all. It seemed like nobody else kind of had time to practice either. So I think everyone was just kind of going in, winging it. And when you have everybody winging it, I think it just provides a really good show. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it tonight because it was hectic in the car. I definitely was nervous, but I mean, I had fun. It was a good time.
Man, it was a different. I don't know how to I don't know how else to say it other than it was a really good show, man. It looked like everybody had their struggling points, which is what I love to see, honestly. There was a lot of GTPs that struggled getting around the GT3s. Do you think, I mean, was it just how the turns were lined up and where the straightaways were lined up, or, the track temperature or the narrowness of the track? I mean, what was your thoughts on that when you had to work your way around all the GT3s?
I think it's the narrowness of the track that you mentioned. That this track normally is a tough track to make passes in when you watch it in an event like Formula One, and I think those characteristics definitely translate to here, where you have to kind of maneuver your way around these GT3 cars. And I kind of got lucky in a few areas where I could make a few passes on some quick straights, just to be able to get the gas down and the power kits on quicker, and I was able to kind of get around. But then there's some areas where like through the S's where you have to kind of follow the leader. You have to kind of follow those GT3s until you can get to a straightaway and just use your speed to get around them. Um, it made it interesting. It made for some interesting battles. I felt like, and just kind of kept the gaps sort of close together. I felt like too. I felt like toward the end of the race, Thad, he was able to kind of keep behind me for a while. I wasn't able to really pull away from him, um, just because with the how the GT3 traffic kind of panned out. So, but I think it just probably made it more fun to try. It's more of a challenge than say some of the tracks we've been on already. Um, Probably made for a better show, I would imagine.
Was you said you haven't ran here before. I mean, what was your expectations coming into it?
Honestly, I had zero expectations. I figured it was going to be tough. I figured it was going to be tricky. I actually kind of thought everybody was going to just kind of spin and wreck, and it was just going to be chaos. I'm glad it wasn't that way. I think I only saw a few cars spin. I mean, even myself, I kind of lost the car a little bit, and um, but I mean, it was fun. Once I learned the track, I think I spent like 15 minutes learning the track, and once I got it down, it was like, all right, I think I can have a handle on it. Just didn't want the car to break traction. I think if it broke traction, I was screwed. But yeah, no, it was fun for a first time driving this track. I loved it. It was fun. I'll definitely race this track again.
I mean, and what a performance you gave. I mean, second place, you can't be mad at that. Thaddeus Marshall's a really quick dude. Being with Pierce on the team that they're on. So, I mean, it was awesome to see you in there mixing it up with them guys. It would have been great, if you could have reeled Pearson, and I think you would have gave him a run for his money.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It was fun to race Thaddeus there a lot. Unfortunately, he had a bit of a shunt there in the beginning of the race, and he just kind of had to play catch up from there on out. The only reason why I was really able to get around him was because he just had to play fuel strategy. Which is just kind of what happens when you are with the cars he was dealt. He had a bit of a. I think he said his computer froze on him, and it's what caused him to wreck. So, um, thankful for second place. Like you mentioned, Pierce and Thaddeus, they're on a different level than me. So to be able to compete around, to be able to battle around Thaddeus and get second place today, as I kind of said, the first race of the season, to be the best of the rest, I think is great is a great thing.
So, next week we're going into Long Beach, and I'm just looking at the schedule here. It looks like in bold letters it says possible addition of rain. Um, what's the game plan going into that next week with that the chance there could be rain there?
Just gonna have to learn the track, how it handles in the rain. I haven't been able to hop on yet and really get a grip of what the GTPs are like in the rain. So I'll definitely have to kind of spend some time with Long Beach and just kind of see how the car feels and how it handles, and some ways of how to handle that come race time. It's these cars are a challenge already as it is, and adding the factor of rain, especially on such a tight circuit like Long Beach, where passing is probably going to be even harder to do. I would think it's going to be something that we're gonna have to spend a lot of time learning before next Wednesday. So yeah, just gonna have to keep just practice, see how the car handles, see what adjustments I need to make, how I need to enter each corner, basically relearn Long Beach again. So that'll probably be my plan of action.
Well, brother, judging by you just saying, relearn Long Beach, and you've never raced here, so you were learning on the fly anyways, I think that's going to work in your favor. I mean, again, man, P2 finish, a phenomenal show. Give your shout outs, brother.
Thanks. I just want to shout out everybody from Hutch Sport Racing. Great team, great support system there. McConey Setup Shop, All Star 15 TV, JP Customs, just everybody on the road side of that team. We're all working right now towards Sebring. We're very excited for what we've got going on there, and we win as a team, we lose as a team, and even if it's one person running one league or you got 5 running a different one. So just glad to be a part of that group of people, and glad to bring home another podium finish.
Absolutely. Peyton Sweet, everybody, your P2 finisher in the Porsche GTP. Next up, we are going to get James Pierce. Not a shocker, you're in here yet again with a P1 finish tonight here at I can't even pronounce the name again now. Hungaroring. Dang it. Hungaroring. I knew it. I just couldn't think of it fast enough. Give me an insight on how the race went tonight, man.
Just simple. Just towards the just keeping the lap times low and making sure I'm safe and not racking up too many X's. It's kind of the game plan, is the stock game plan going in. Just run the setup till it's dry and then put as many laps as I need and fuel in it and let her go. Make sure I'm being as safe as possible with it too, is protecting the car, protecting the tires, fuel saving for the first bit because I knew I was gonna probably have a lower load than everybody else just because of the setup I was on. So made sure to run it, pretty fuel conservative for the first half of the race. Made sure I save as much fuel as I could, and had an issue of not having any battery for the first half of the race, but other than that, pretty clean.
Yeah, that's what Church was saying. You and Stryker were talking about that mid race. Give us a little more insight on that. What do you exactly mean when you were having issues with the battery?
I wasn't having any deployment with these cars being hybrids. You have the electronic boost from the battery will turn the axle and help give you a couple horsepower when it's active. And I wasn't having any of that. And also it helps to eliminate your fuel usage as well. So you don't have to use as much fuel to keep the pace as high. So I was having to fuel save with no assist kind of towards the beginning of it, which was the issue. And I guess what was happening was my wheel was getting detected that my no boost button was getting repeatedly hit. So it was continuously registering a no boost input. So I had to take my wheel off on one of the straights and jam it back on real quick. And it seemed to reset the issue. So I think that fixed it, and we were good to go after that.
Just you saying that reminds me, back in the day, I watched my grandpa steer a tractor with a wrench one time because the wheel just fell off.
I was like Dale Jr. when the wheel came off and he had to grab it by his hand.
Yeah,
Orlando Norris when he ripped it off that one time.
Yeah, that's funny. One of the things I wanted to touch base with you on, because we caught it. We want to know what kind of cheat codes you run, brother, because we watched you pass a GT3 car in the grass, and that was on purpose, was it not?
Very much, yeah. No, I told Nate, here it comes, and he knew exactly what was coming. So
you weren't worried about that front splitter digging in, were you?
Nah, no. It's all good. It was, especially with I made sure that I joined that outside on the little escape road there, so I didn't go straight into the grass on the first bump. So, and with the amount of downforce these things produce, there's really no issues with it. So you can easily do that one as long as you're not turning hard or on the throttle at low speeds. You can easily run through the grass. So I thought it'd be a little fun, a little chirp at Nate as they're having a good battle. I wanted to scare them both.
Yeah, no. Well, and we've seen a lot of that today. The GTPs, it almost looked like they ran the corners really deep just to get around them. And they would either spin or the GT3s would spin getting out of the way. It looked like there was a lot of self spins tonight. Do you think that's just because of the design of the track, or was it temperatures in the tires? What's your aspect? I mean, did you struggle with any of that at all?
I mean, probably there's not been many. They haven't run here, so some of the GTPs haven't run here yet. So obviously using different setups and stuff like that. And obviously learning the cars. It's a lot of people here aren't as used to the GTPs as some others. So there's kind of like a learning aspect for an uncomfortable setup with an uncomfortable track and something that requires a lot of precision. You're gonna have a lot of incidents like that, but I think people handled it pretty well. There wasn't really many major incidents and major crashes, so pretty proud of everybody. And it's just one of those things that you just kind of build a repertoire and build an experience with it of kind of getting on the edge, because you really were riding these things off the outside of the tire most of the time. So just diving it in deep, getting a little overconfident, and then kind of having the ego check, and then kind of realizing, okay, you can dig deep, but you can't dig as that deep. So I had a couple moments of that too, where I was like, thankfully no lockups, but where you're like, okay, no, can't go that deep anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, brother, I don't know if you were watching around the track like we were, but I mean, there was a lot of good racing tonight. I mean, a lot of good racing, and it was great to watch, which I was more worried that we were going to have another episode of Daytona, where everybody just kind of falls in line and cruises around. But this was the polar opposite of that. I mean, the GT3s were fighting back in third and fourth place, fighting for position. And I mean, with the GTPs, second and third, Theodis and or Thaddeus, sorry, and Sweet were just going at it majority of the race, and you were just driving off in the sunset like you normally do. It's quite something to
Yeah, I
watch.
heard there was a good battle between them two, and also if GT3s had two separate battles that I got to watch for a couple corners when I came up behind them. But yeah, it looked good. It looked like a lot of close battles in certain places, and made sure definitely could put in a good show for the others.
So Long Beach next week with the possible addition to rain. Give me your thoughts.
I hope it's full wet.
Have you already done practice with it?
I've done a ton of laps already, and I've absolutely enjoyed it, loved it, and it just brings back the good old days of R Factor 2 with the rain. So I'm comfortable in the rain, and I believe I've got some pace. And it's still learning, of course, but I'm really confident in the rain so far, and I put in some really good laps in it and fast laps as well. So I'm ready for rain. I think it's a great equalizer for talent and repetition in iRacing. So I think it's going to be a shakeup in terms of who can be fast in it, who can maintain their pace on the dry and to the wet. So I think that's the best thing. I'm looking forward to it hugely.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to broadcast the first race with rain. It's just I can't wait to see what the graphics look like, even from a broadcasting standpoint. And to be able to watch these cars as they're behind another car and in the spray in the thick of it will be, it'll be very, very entertaining. So I'm super excited about it. James, another win tonight. No stranger to victory lane. Give your shout outs, brother.
Shout out to you guys as well. You guys put on a great show, and you guys make sure that it's a great welcoming environment, as well as the league. They put on some great races and a good community. So it's always a good night. Sometimes the races, especially Daytona, can get a little off, but you have these gyms every once in a while that pop up here, and I think it's worth it. And we get more people in here, it's going to become even better. So it's a great community. You guys put on a great races, so I'm really happy to be here. Shout out to 212, and their support on me is keeping the morale high every time we do the races, because our officials, our endurance officials have been great, but the leagues have been great so far. So pretty proud of that, and making sure that they keep up on their pace, and they're doing great, and I'm happy to be a part of them as well with that. He's done a great job improving, and he'll it's only a matter of time before he gets faster than me. So you guys better watch out when I get out of here. He's going to be a monster after that.
We look forward to it, man. James Pierce, P1 finish. We'll see him next week. We are going to bring up the winner of the Dominate BMW in the GT3s. David Steiner with the victory tonight over Gene. What a show, brother. Give me your thoughts on that race.
How you doing, Ryan? How you doing, everyone else too? Yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that race. It was fantastic. I love this track. Glad we could come here. And that was a good race. It wasn't easy, mate.
I mean,
Tough one.
it looked like Gene. I mean, he made you earn that thing, brother. I mean, he wasn't giving you an inch. I mean, were you worried at all driving it as deep as you were driving it in, as maybe sliding up or locking up a tire and getting into him?
Yeah, of course you think about that. And throughout the stint, you're just not sure how close he is to his limits, and I know where I'm trying to pitch myself and trying to do a bit of fuel conservation for that first stint. And what's he doing? How long's he going to be able to go? Because I think it was a bit of a fuel game today. Um, but just didn't quite know how it was going to pan out. But he was solid, and he was not putting a foot wrong. Um, he was clean, and he was fast, and he was consistent, and he was good. So he made it hard, man. It
Hey, man.
wasn't easy.
One of the things I was keeping an eye on is that last set of pit cycles. I seen him come in, as you got around him, and then obviously we knew you were going to have to come in that next following lap. How nervous were you getting into that pit stall that last time? Because I mean, you had to have known like any tiny little mistake, he was going to get around you.
Yeah, and it's not an easy run into the pits here. As soon as he came in, though, I felt good about that. I knew I had actually 2 more laps of fuel, which meant that's probably, I don't know, probably just over a second worth of fuel time in savings there. So as soon as he came in 2 laps ahead of me, I thought this is okay. See how we go. Then it was just nailing those 2 laps, or at least not making too many mistakes for the final 2. Then, as you said, Ryan coming in and not bollocksing up that entry, which is a tricky little closing right-hander there. It tightens on you, and then making it to the pits and be conservative on the speed check line, but got there and had the better run of the fill. Managed to come out about a second and a half, 2 seconds ahead, which is great.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. We got Signature Esports over in the chat saying he caught the end of the race and congrats. You know, we love to watch the Australians get up here and flex their muscles from time to time, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks to you both.
Were you like well prepared for the race? Did you get a bunch of practice in, or is this a track you're just naturally good at, or is it something you just kind of learned on the fly?
No, it's a track I've known for years. Being an avid follower of F1, of Grand Prix since I was a boy, I know this track and not well. I think the European or Grand Prix circles, I think they call it the Monaco of the East, or something like that, because how tight it is, difficult to overtake it is, and I think we learnt today how challenging it is to manage 2 different classes with your different speed differentials being so great. And so no, I did know it. I do know it well. I do like it, and I did a bunch of work leading up to this just to be on pace. Of course, yeah.
Hey, man, that's phenomenal. And I love, Gene's such a fast driver in the GT3s. He's kind of like the James Pierce in the GT3s we've been seeing lately. So it's good for, to see somebody just go up there and challenge that and take it away. So now, I mean, I think moving forward, we're probably going to have a David Steiner and Gene McClune battle week in and week out. And I mean, I know I'm super excited. You got to keep bringing the heat.
Yeah, I'll definitely try. We're gonna see Colby and Nate in amongst this, of course. I don't count them out for a second. I know how quick both those fellas are. So they're gonna be there.
They're
gonna be there for sure.
I think they just got caught up in the traffic and getting to you and Gene, and you and Gene were kind of in your own little pack there, but they were battling back there all race long for like third and fourth. I mean, it was good racing all the way around the board, man. I like and clean. I didn't really see too many cars really get into one another, just mainly self spins. Moving forward,
Yeah.
we're going to Long Beach next week, and it's in bold letters on the schedule. Possibility of additional water or rain. Give me your thoughts on that if that's what happens.
Yeah. I have to say that Long Beach, and Striker knows this, Long Beach is one of my favorite tracks. And you probably don't hear that very often, mate, but it is. I love it there. Love doing a race at Long Beach. So put a bit of rain onto the track. We'll see what happens, mate. Do a bit of practice this week and see how it goes with a bit of a wet surface and get used to it. Yeah.
I talked to James Pierce, and he's obviously already had a ton of practice with the rain just in the last 24 hours, and he wants Long Beach waterlogged, I think.
I heard him say that. Yeah.
That guy.
I'm not sure. I haven't driven his prototypes, but they don't have traction control, do they? Certainly don't have ABS, right?
Right.
So, okay.
Well, and
he could.
brother, you're Australia's dang near on the equator, you know. So you guys don't even know I mean, I'm sure you know what snow is, but you ain't ever seen it. And I would say the best way to describe this rain is like driving on a sheet of ice.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get out there
Yeah,
and practice.
it's gonna be unique to the track too. So we'll have to get an eye in on Long Beach.
Yeah.
I mucked around as I think everybody has done over the last couple of days, just with getting a feel for the rain and how it goes. And I did a couple of laps at the Nordschleife, and I'll have to say that was not very hard. That was pretty comfortable. And then I did a couple of laps at Bathurst, and it was almost undrivable. So it's going to be unique to each track. We'll have to get a feel for it and see how it goes.
Man, I can't. Again, man, I can't wait for the first broadcast in rain. It's going, dude. It's going to be so cool, especially from a broadcasting standpoint. And it's going to be really neat to see who's going to progress through it quickly. You know, because you're going to have drivers on their strong suits, like clearly you tonight. You know, for this track. But I mean, add another element to it. You know, you might be the worst car in this, you know, on the track. So it's going to really throw a wrench into everybody's driving style, and they're going to have to relearn how to drive all these cars at every single track. So it's going. I think it's a setup for a great show.
Yeah. And as Murray Walker used to say, in motorsport, anything can happen, and it usually does.
That's right. We got David Steiner, P1 and the GT3s. Give your shout outs, brother.
Mate, thanks first and foremost to the sponsor, Virtual Velocity Racing, and also ChopShop TV. Thanks to you guys for putting the spit polish on it and making it look good. And well done to Gene. Solid race. Excellent effort. Wasn't easy. Well done to Nate there in P3 and Colby apparently right on his heels. So that's good. And just one final thanks to the whole field, but the GTPs particularly, because what I saw, um, they were very patient with us today in their overtakes. It's not easy to get them past. If you choose to let them past at any point, it's a bit of a compromise. And so they were patient, and it just felt good. So well done.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a very interesting next schedule, especially, you know, like I said, with the rain coming in. So everybody's going to have to be extra patient on all the overtakes. So I mean, for them doing that as cleanly as they did tonight, kudos to them. David Steiner, P1 finish in the GT3s. Glad to see him get a victory tonight. It's going to help him in the points. We'll see you in the next week, brother.
Good on you, Ryan. Thank you. See you next week.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. Gene is not in the Discord, so we will not be doing his interview. We'll have to catch him one of these other times. We're going to move forward. We're going to pull up your race results one last time for everybody to see. James Pierce, P1, Peyton Sweet, P2, Thaddeus Marshall, P3, Michael Strickland, P4, Steven Salas, P5, Chris Robers, P6, rounding out your GTP class. GT3s, P1, David Steiner, P2, Gene McClune, P3, Nathan Bigger, P4, Colby Hartung, P5, Theodore, P6, Mark Gretchen, P7th, Wesley Straight, P7th, rounding out the end, Noah Blackwell, and your GT3 class. Folks, again, I apologize for the beginning of this race. You know, iRacing just did not want to cooperate tonight. It happens. Not the end of the earth. We got the broadcast in. We got to see one heck of a race. Thanks again to all of our partners, Signature Esports, Admin Box. I mean, there's so many of them. ChopShop Podcast, the Chopping It Up TV, Chop TV, obviously, Speedy Truck Systems, Speedy Trucks Trophies. I apologize. MCI Graphics, the Baller Status Boys, and most importantly, Virtual Velocity Racing for sponsoring our road course series. We couldn't do this without them, so we always give them a huge shout out. Owner Tim Lee, they do practice every Thursday in the Next Gen series at 7:25 Eastern Standard Time with a 25-minute practice. They do a 5-minute qualifying around 8:25, and then they're off racing. They are fully stacked in their Next Gen class, but don't be worried. I'm sure they have a waiting line. Go over to Facebook /Virtual Velocity Racing and jump in. Talk to them. see what's going on over there. You never know, they might just start another series if we just bombard them with everybody. It would be awesome. Church is out doing birthday stuff with his little daughter, so I did all the interviews myself. He's eager to. Oh, he is here. Church, what real quick before we close out here, what are your thoughts about tonight, and what are your thoughts about going into Long Beach next week?
Dude, it was an absolute great race. Probably one of the best races we've watched and broadcasted all year long so far. I mean, people were battling. I mean, when they were battling, there was GTP cars in the way, everything like that. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better race. Long Beach, I'm not too sure on Long Beach, but if we're gonna try the rain, it's gonna be interesting and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So can't wait to look.
Yeah, man, the second the rain comes, it's going to be a phenomenal broadcast. It's going to be extremely interesting. That's going to do it for us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for sticking it out. Thanks for jumping in and watching. I think we had like consistently 10 views going on. So I hope the coverage was good. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We're going to sign off. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. They're going to be duking it out at Long Beach with the possibility of rain. We will see you then.